So another big game set to get underway at the SCG. Sydney coming out onto the ground. Two changes for them. McGlynn and Cunningham come into the side at the expense of Nick Smith, who is injured, and Adam Goods, who relegated himself from the team to play in the reserve to try and find some form, which he did in the NEAFL. So a fine day at the SCG. Swans out on the ground. This is going to be a good battle, this one. The GWS Giants and the Sydney Swans in the Battle of the Bridge. And right now we're going to join our commentary team that includes Tony Shaw, Alistair Lynch, and is headed up by Dwayne Russell. Dwayno?
Thanks, Andy. Pleasure to be here at the SCG. I do have the three-time Brisbane Lions Premiership player Alistair Lynch and the Collingwood Premiership captain Tony Shaw with me, and they've got a good recent history, these two teams.
It's been fantastic. The most recent game, round 14 last year at the SCG, and it was the Sydney Swans that dominated. Then Josh Kennedy, he's got off to a good start this season. He was in great touch with 3 Brownlow votes last season. It was the Sydney Swans by 46, but it was a complete reversal in round 1, Shorey.
Yeah, Shane Mumford was dominant, and I think he might be that again today. He's in very good form. Looking forward to see how the GWS really cope this up-and-coming side up against a very, very senior side in the Sydney Swans.
Let's have a look at the lineup for the Sydney Swans, and as we just heard from Sandy, there's been 2 changes, and Dean Towers will start as the sub. The #1 contested football team in the competition, but their forward half with the potent forwards are still struggling to mark the ball. Averaging, they're ranked 18 in the AFL for marks inside forward 50 and 16 in the comp for marks in general.
I just love the look at the GWS spine. Phil Davis, Joel Patfell's been brilliant since he come across from Brisbane. Callum Ward, he just works in each week as the captain. Cameron and McCarthy have given some really good focal points, especially McCarthy. So looking forward to see how they go today. And you throw in Shane Mumford, he's just the anchor for it. And some of the younger players, Dylan Shield, ranked #1 in the AFL, boys. He is just a ball carrier that they really look up to. Jeremy Cameron, 7th for marks inside 50. Like to see him take some more contested mark. Adam Treloar just runs. He's a hard nut. Runs hard also. 9th for score involvements. And that man they recruited, Ryan Griffin, 8th for score assists. He just gets through the lines and creates for his teammates.
Let's have a look at some of the key players for the Sydney Swans. And Josh Kennedy, we just mentioned before, he's #1 in the competition for contested possessions and #1 for clearances. His partner in crime, coming off a best and fairest last year, Luke Parker, 5th in disposals, 3rd in contested possessions in the competition. Franklin, his best work's been the defensive side of his game so far this season, yet still sits 7th on the goal-kicking ladder. And Daniel Hannabury's off to a flyer on career-high pace so far in the season for disposals, clearances and tackles. So there's a bit of talent there, Shorey, in both teams.
Oh, fantastic. Looking forward to it as we go to the toss of the coin here.
Kieran Jack and Phil Davis. And Phil Davis wins the toss and decides to kick to the right of your screens as we welcome Sydney Premiership captain as well, Barry Hall.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Well, beautiful conditions down here at ground level. Absolutely perfect. Some dark clouds are starting to loom, but let's hope the rain stays away and doesn't affect this game of football. The Sydney Swans' point of view, look, they're going to have a tilt for the title again. They're going to be premiership favourites. After a pretty good form last week, they're going to be top 4, but it's more about GWS today. Can they put 4 quarters together? We know their good is really good. Can they do it consistently enough? 4-quarter performance, which I think they can do today. I reckon they can scare the Swans. I reckon it's going to be a pretty good game of football, Dwayne.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll need to get out of the blocks pretty fast. So we can go back to round 1 last year, and it was really interesting to see the Giants come out of the blocks really well. But Phil Davis did a great job on Buddy Franklin. It's not too often you come across a team that has 2 players well equipped to go with Franklin. And as you mentioned before in the lineups, Joel Patfell has done a job on Franklin in the past.
Yep.
Dave's will most probably get the job to start with, but you can be sure they'll interchange with that role on Franklin because he covers so much ground.
There he is, Lance Franklin. He was looking ominous in the warm-up. 6 goals so far this year for Lance Franklin. They've got a potent forward line. There's the man who'll probably get the matchup, and we'll keep an eye on those matchups for you. Joel Patfell, Phil Davis. Massive job for the Greater Western Sydney Giants defence this afternoon.
Dwayne, it's an amazing stat, though. Worst side inside 50 for taking marks at the moment. Only 2 rounds of the year, but you think with Tippett and Franklin, you'd be up there, probably one in top 3 or 4 at least, but they're the worst, equal worst in the comp, 5 average.
Yeah, only took 5 marks against Port Adelaide in a fantastic display. We just see here the big forwards. There's Pike and Franklin involved there. Kurt Tippett's going to start in the ruck for the first bounce up against former Swan Shane Mumford.
2 undefeated teams. This is 2nd and 3rd on the AFL ladder, head-to-head, and a to see the two New South Wales teams go at it. Nice little flick down Mumford early. Against his old team, got the Brownlow votes when they beat Sydney in that round 1 clash last year. Cornelio, good hands.
Great grab, and it is Patfull has gone to Franklin to start the game.
And Mumford throwing his weight around. And it's in Mumford's direction, should get there. Scully. Good tackle and dropped Whitfield.
It wasn't a great option for Mumford to give off to Scully, who was under pressure straight away.
Crowder into this early, and Jetta, he's in good form. 20 possessions, 2 goals last week, and it's on behind play. Franklin's dragged down, and
it's gone against Franklin.
Oh, it's up the field, so he's already got in his head, Joel Patfull, in Buddy Franklin's head. The umpire said it's back to where that ball was kicked, so it'll go back into the centre of the ground.
Now, Ben McGlynn, he may not have got that, but at the very least it would have gone over the boundary line, 160 metres from goal. Turnover, big turnover.
Green, can they capitalise? Cameron leads short, he's about to be run down. Gone.
Cold.
Come on, you've got to kick the ball inside 50 at the SCG. Smaller ground.
And now Franklin gets his chance to sit on ahead. He's up there. And he puts it over the line.
And that will no doubt be a tactic. Davis will be looking to drop off his direct opponent to get in front of Franklin, allow Patfull to come over the back. That's why Davis's man needs to be used.
Tippett doing the ruck work. Mumford with him. Good palm down Mumford, but missed his mark. Jack missed his mark. Parker dumped Patfull out of the way. Kennedy in great form at the moment, and he's always in good form. We'll get a ball in.
I think at the SCG, though, even if you go wide and get a stoppage, it's better to get the ball inside 50 and then try and hem it in, because it is such a wide ground. And just the hesitant nature of not wanting to kick it inside 50 doesn't help you.
Coming off a 36 possession game last week, Josh Kennedy. Cornelio gets it from Griffin. It's the half forward. Reid down there. Got it away from Green. Struggled early last week, Sam Reid. Failed to have a kick in the first half. The two coaches looking on, hoping their matchups are right early. I'll bring you a few more of those shortly as well. Good tackle on Kennedy.
That's ball.
Yep, had to be.
They'll look to go inboard instantly, but if that's closed off, they've got to go long with this kick.
Cornelio.
The only thing, Tippett's back into that space now off the ball.
A handball to Shaw. That's Shaw versus Shaw this afternoon, and that was perfection to Cameron.
Well, that's the old look-away fakers in basketball terms, Dwayne, because he looked like he was going to kick the ball long, but just lowered his eyes beautifully. And I agree totally what you say there, Lynchy, that if you're going to turn the ball over, turn it over deep in your forward line so you maybe get a stoppage, but they've turned it over twice in the midfield by trying to invent something. On that occasion, he sure invented something beautifully.
Yeah, good use.
Just the one goal last week for Jeremy Cameron. This is massive for momentum early. Struck it okay. Hit it thin.
Just feel when you're taking on one of the superpowers of the competition over the last decade, you need to take your chances. Very young, inexperienced midfield. They want to put scoreboard pressure on.
Lloyd. Rampy. Caught a little high. Umpire let it roll. Smith gets it out to Kelly. Shaw. Laidler. Gary Rowan. If it bounces kindly. Had to wait. Tried to be clever. Still works.
Swans.
Hanbury dumped. Back to Lloyd. Tippett 1-on-2. Ball hits the deck. Heaney. And he nails it. How good is this kid?
A very similar goal to what he kicked late in the game against Essendon in round 1. He's a very special player. Just composure under pressure, and there's a lot of pressure out there in this game. Very important game for both teams. Contest down the front. Tippett made enough of a contest to be a great reference point for Heaney, but the composure of this young man in game 3 in his AFL career, which may go for a while, I'm suspecting, that is a very good goal. Great goal. First one to the Swans. They lead by 5 points early.
2 games for 2 wins for Isaac Heaney, yet to get a NAB Rising Star nomination. You'd reckon there's one not far away. Kelly, slick hands, Shaw, dumped by McVeigh. Lloyd, they're hunting now, the Swans. Hanbury short. Franklin.
That was good play by Kurt Tippett there. They're going to be probably 2-on-1 a lot because they're floating up the ground, the Sydney Swans, some of their medium forwards. But you just got to try and compete against that too. You might have a hard day at the office, but you'll set up goals at ground level like Heaney kicked then.
Shaw kick smothered, McVeigh off the deck. Scully. Family up to see the 2 boys, your nephews today, Shorey?
Yes, they've travelled up. The father, the sister-in-law, brother, the whole family's up here, Dwayne.
Okay,
we'll do a fair bit on the pub trade, I would think.
Yeah, we'll let you depart soon after the bounce. Shaw gets it out on cue. Whitfield. And he's in good form, Cam McCarthy.
And really hard running to find that space.
Callan Ward. Open forward line. Keeps it low. Cameron, well, he's already had a sighter from this exact spot.
Well, he hasn't had to break stride for his 2 leads and marks. The first one from Shaw, and then Callan Ward just hit him.
I don't think that's the matchup with Rampke. I think they just got lost in play because Teddy Richards went to him in the first few minutes of the quarter, boys. So we'll just have to see what happens there. I don't think Rampke can handle him.
Cameron just checking the stitching on the Sharon. See if it's a left-hander or a right-hander. And he's got it. They're back in front, GWS.
Let's have a look at that work rate of Cam McCarthy to find the space on the far wing. And this is where it's really important for a high half forward, centre half forwards. Now we see through the middle of the ground his work rate out in front of Sam Reid. Now Sam Reid works hard to close the gap, but honoured with a really nice pass. That's what you need to do. You can't just expect that it's going to be nice pass up the line. And there's the result hitting Jeremy Cameron, who did kick truly and put one through from 50 metres out.
Free kick off the ball in the Swans forward line, and it's going to the Giants and Mumford.
He's received the most free kicks in the competition, Shane Mumford.
And launches it long. Where's McCarthy? Back of the pack. Cameron crashed it well as well. Kelly kept it alive. Whitfield centering ball. Oh, good puck over the almost. Not quite Treloar. Off the deck though, that'll do. Not quite.
Adam Treloar appealing to the umpire. Said, I had a fair chunk of that one. It looked like he did.
Pike.
He's got extra numbers here, the Swans. They could use this wisely. They could run it up.
Cunningham back in with Adam Goods out, of course, electing not to play today. Adam Goods played in the kneeful, if you didn't hear earlier, and it did okay. Kicked a couple of goals. Parker. Cord.
Oh, cold.
Grundy. It's got Reid. Grundy. Richards. Rampier's target. Quick delivery from Rampy to Bird. He's got a few running for him. Heaney. Half volley wasn't quite there. Pike and Mumford clash heads.
Good hands.
Ames got it from Shaw. To Scully. This is good movement here. Cameron leads back. Delightful.
I tell you what, Teddy Richards, it's not his fault. You've just got to ask your midfielders, can you put some pressure on coming through the corridor? I cannot go back and forward all the time, not knowing where the ball's coming in from, because the Sydney Swans midfielders just have no pressure at all on the ball carrier at the moment.
That was good use from Tom Scully.
Yeah, it was.
Could have blazed away at times, can miss the target. Really well weighted pass.
Almost the same spot he kicked from, and he misses this one.
You've got to take those chances. I think Lynchy said it before. You're playing against one of the best sides in the competition. They're going to have their 10 to 15 minutes where they get to have a chance to score. You have to make them.
Well, the Giants are dominating possession at the moment, but the clearances are 4-1 in favour of the Giants. They're doing a hell of a lot right, but they've got to make it count.
Sydney Swans premiership captain Barry Hall on the boundary line. Cornelio dragged down. Cameron, in theory, could have 3 goals to this point. Threw that away, did Ward. Got away with it. Shield jumped on.
By 4.
They did that last week. Their tackling was awesome last week, the Sydney Swans against Port Adelaide. Had 76 tackles for the game, which is pretty high. Jack. Davis. Ward. Haynes. Shaw. Extra man back for the Swans, Reid.
Yeah, he was waiting for someone to present his Shaw, but in the end he had to just blaze away long, cause the turnover long, if anywhere.
Tippett.
Gee, they've clogged up the centre of the ground well, GWS. They know the Sydney Swans like to get a switch and get out to the wide side of the ground.
Shaw drops back in the hole, did well, body on the line, then got a possession. Phillips scrambles to Smith. Griffin.
Oh, hands.
So Green can hit a target. Mumford short. Manhandled a little. Hits the deck. Scully. Back to Green. Shrugs. Good smother of the handball. Good. Hanbury after Lloyd put his body on the line. Still comes out. Devon Smith. Across the face. Out of bounds might be a win here for GWS. It rolls and they'll get a ball in.
Good intensity early from both teams. Tackling pressure been immense.
Phillips, good knock to Kelly. Touch ball. Rampy. Going to have to play on. Grundy. And that's a good plaque, Parker. Wasn't really his ball, McVeigh, and now they run. McGlynn back into the lineup this week. His first game for the year. Franklin, no one's in the goal square. He goes for home and brings the house down.
And that's why you have to take your chances at the other end, because there's a big fella up there that runs all right and kicks it from a long way out. And this is what the Sydney Swans can do. They can transition from deep defence.
Now, lockdown, you can see this, Lynchy. Franklin, Patfield's got great positioning. He had to ask Davis to block him off, maybe, but he allowed him to get back in the corridor. He had to block him there because the leg speed, he hasn't got his leg speed. That is a superstar in action then. And they tried to do most of the things right, but they allowed him back in the corridor.
Really good point, Shorey, and that's where you should be happy to concede a free kick 90 metres from goal by sitting Lance Franklin
on his backside.
Absolutely, because he gets goal side, you're in all sorts of strife.
Well, GWS could be 4 straight. And the Swans are 2 goals straight. McCarthy.
Gee, good work ethic.
It's been a nice find.
Oh, that's not.
Not so good. Wrong time to praise him, McVeigh.
He's done everything else right.
Well, work ethic's a bit different than kicking.
Big switch on. No.
Shaw, body on the line again.
Yeah, well done from Heath Shaw. Was it last year? Sure, he got back with the fight of the ball and got smashed here at the SCG.
He's hurt himself too.
Yeah.
So it was shoulder.
Shoulder or ribs. He goes back. This is fantastic courage. In the ribs, I reckon he's copped one.
Yeah, he was choked during the week. He had no memory of being here. It was a bit like some of the nightclubs he'd been to, he suggested. Laidler.
As long as he suggested that.
I think he did. The 2 Shaw boys faced the press and were quite entertaining. It was like a comedy act.
Oh, he's
Cameron's chance. It's no one in the square. Rampy gets back. He loads up from a long way out.
Geez, he's having an influence. That's his 5th kick. I think 4th shot at goal. 1 goal, 3 he's kicked.
Here's Reese. Lloyd. Hanbury.
Oh, sure again.
So Reese kicks to Jetta, and he does want to run. Franklin's short, ignored, goes to Parker. Oh, Cornelio's going to have to get back. Oh, won't matter.
Well, that's what you can do at the SCG if you hit the corridor. How quickly that moved from the full-back area after the point, and they have a shot within 10 to 15 seconds.
Phil Davis. Callan Ward.
Speaking of injuries, he had a very severe injury after round 1 or during round 1 last year.
Yeah, Phil Davis injured his kidney. That was against the Swans in that GWS win.
Just about 3 months, wasn't it?
Yeah. An amazing win that was. It was in lightning, rain, delay of the game, in the middle of the game. Phillips almost pulled that in. Palmer breaks free. Tumbles one towards goal. Will it work? Didn't quite skip over Reed.
Well, missed the target.
That skips over Lloyd.
Big year for Sammy Reed. Big year to just see where he's going to show his improvement. He looks like he's going to play a fair part of the year in defence, you would think, but still, even though a premiership player hasn't found his niche, I don't think just think he's going to be in their best 22 all the time.
He only had a 3-kick, 2-mark grand final as well. It wasn't his best grand final, mind you. There was a few Swans off on grand final day last year.
I think the short, they found the target there. The short and more importantly the long-term plan would be to have him key defence. With Grundy and Richards getting to the latter stages of their career, he's going to have to stand up, down, back.
Good knockdown. Shield short and just within range. Reece Palmer perhaps.
His best goal-kicking season last year, in probably his best year since winning the NAB Rising Star in his first season for Fremantle. And he's worked his way into being a bit of a goal kicker in the last 12 months, Dwayne.
And he'll finally crack the 100-game barrier next week against the Gold Coast. Reece Palmer. And this to put the GWS back in front. 17 minutes gone, opening quarter. Good crowd, good quality contest. Not quite. Had their chances. Might get another one here. Lloyd just pulled it in. Rampy nowhere to go. Back to Lloyd. It's their new runner from defence, and he hits Jack Glace out.
Oh, Gary Rowan's by himself.
Didn't see Rowan. McLean. Heaney. Little fumble, got one high, and
gets one high.
Yeah. Umpire just waited to see if there was an opportunity for a play onto advantage. There wasn't.
Had his head over the ball. Thomas Bugg just copped him a little high.
If you haven't seen him the last couple of weeks, Isaac Heaney, don't know the story. He's a Swans Academy pick. Only paid pick 18 for him. Quality local product and very calm under pressure.
He's a very impressive young player, but the thing that's starting to show up, the ability of the Swans to transition from deep defence. Here's a free kick from Bugg, just tapped him on the top of the head. Not a lot in it.
Nearly led with his own head, didn't he?
Yeah,
and put himself in the area of concern, I would think. He ducked his head in.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in that one.
No.
Bugg's probably, I think Bugg actually tried to be quite careful in the contest there, but regardless, Heaney had the opportunity, and unlike GWS, Heaney went back and kicked a really nice goal from long range. Two goals from his first two disposals of the game, Isaac Heaney.
Greater Western Sydney have had more scoring shots, but they don't have the lead. Treloar breaks free. Long goal square. Devon Smith back there beaten for it by Laidler.
We're talking about transition. You know, Sydney Swans, they've gone inside 9 times. GWS rebounded 7 times out of that area, fired the defence of Sydney Swans.
Yeah, this is the
Here
concern.
it goes again.
Yeah.
Heaney the target. Haynes got a fist on it. Heaney's second effort, superb. Jack smothered. Devon Smith, well, he loves a goal.
Spun the wheels.
Yeah, second thoughts there.
Well, he slipped. His foot, that was supposed to be on the ground, just slipped up from under him.
Grundy on to Cunningham. Bird.
Well, they're keen to take on the corridor through the cricket wicket.
GWS forwards have to really be quicker in their transition to get back, and even push up 20 metres to try and stop that flow through the corridor.
Laidler to Hanbury.
This is too easy.
Pike.
Oh.
Chaos ball inside 50 and good mark. Dropping back, Griffin.
great mark from Griffin to go back with the flight. Just a bit of a simple mistake made there by Pike. Contested possessions well and truly in favour of GWS, just not been honoured on the scoreboard as yet, and probably just on the outside. So clearances and contested possessions. Now remember that the Swans are #1 in the comp for clearances and contested possessions, and they're well and truly matched and eclipsed at the short early stage of the game by the Giants.
Pike, Hanbury, Reid, Jetta. Here's Franklin, one-on-one, front spot, not quite. Just bounced off his chest, or maybe Patfull got a hand in there, right time. Core bumped out of it.
That bounced off his chest.
Rowan. Good scramble, Patfull. Whitfield his outlet. And Scully content to take it out.
Yeah, good call. That was a great contest from Franklin and Joel Patfull. Franklin did some good early preparation work, got Patfull off the contest, but then the closing speed from Patfull to get a fist in late was very important.
And a good pick-up, two-time Brisbane Lions. Best and fairest. Hanbury to the square, over Tippett's head. Davis had the runner.
Well, he hasn't now. Trouble here.
Kelly shrugs, does well, got a legging free.
Well, he did well there, Kelly, because it was a 2-on-1 situation, so he had to maintain possession. A free kick was really handy.
Haynes. Davis. Bug.
You want to be good.
Oh, stolen back. Brilliant, Hanbury.
Want to be good.
Absolutely magnificent.
Well, that is the one thing about Phil Davis at times. I think it's premeditated. You can see he looks in the area, like you can sell the dummy a little bit a couple of times with your head to say, look, you look there, but then you say, I'm not going there, then kick it late. He just sold that straight away, and Hanbury read it magnificently, Dan Hanbury. Yeah, the ball luckily came back to that area where he spoiled to just go on his left foot. Could have gone on the boundary side, but I just think that was then Phil Davis is giving it up too early about where he was going to kick the ball.
Yeah, great goal from Dan Hanbury. We just saw the pass from Phil Davis. Just put Thomas Bugg under the pump. He had to stop and prop. Hanbury was too good.
Mumford and Pike. Mumford down to Shield. Missed it with his toe. Jack. Bird. Plays for the high. Doesn't get it. Does get it.
Yeah, it goes against, I think, Tom Scully, I think, who was reaching over the top. Again, not a lot in it, but Swans get the free.
This is the spread. The spread is really hurting GWS, whether it's off half back or just around the ground.
Jetta. To McVeigh. Got there for the bounce. Shaw spent that before it earned it. Flicks it over his head. Gets away with that. Bird. Hanbury just beyond his range. Sits it up. Franklin. Holds that one.
The push off against Patfull. Got the fend into the chest.
Took off. Time to steady. Touch ball. It won't count. If it's a goal, only be a behind.
There seems to be a hole opening up in the middle of the ground, Shorey. So it's like the GWS forwards aren't getting deep enough in defence to close things up. So there's easy targets in the sort of defensive half of the centre for the Swans. Too many easy possessions.
Oh, good smother as well off the boot of Core.
Well, if it goes in one side to the forward line of GWS, if you're not a player involved in having a shot at goal, you're going to push back into the corridor for the one coming out. It's premeditated to do it. Probably even a kick before the ball goes in their forward line.
Ball knocked down to Parker. Inside to Hanbury. Had some space initially. Feeds it back out. And got one for in the back.
I have another. It's probably just outside his range.
Oh.
That is. Well, that was silly and lucky to get away with that.
Just a quick one, Lynchy. Kieran Jack's gone down the race. Just a bit of a cut under his chin. He's going to stitch that up. I'm sure he'll be back in the second quarter.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of quick staples into the chin.
Already got one, Dan Hanbury. And this for a 21-point margin. Feeds it back all the way into the post.
Hanbury's off to a flyer, as you said. He's already kicked one goal. The rush behind there. He's had 11 disposals, 5 contested possessions, a couple of clearances. So he's working hard in the clearance aspect for the Swans, but the Giants still lead comfortably.
Yeah, coming off that 28 possession 2-goal game last week. Dan Hanbury out on the full from McCarthy's boot. Reid about to send the Swans back inside 50. Tippett and Franklin, and he splits the middle. Patfull.
2 goals, 1 from defensive change to kick goals, the Sydney Swans, and there's another intercept. So they're just on top at the moment. And you're right, Lynchy, that middle of the ground, you need somehow to push down the line. I think you've got to throw a couple behind the ball for till the end of the quarter, just to stem the tide, get together at quarter time and have a talk about those issues.
I think your initial point was spot on. The forward's got to react a lot quicker to go defensive mindset.
Kennedy's free. Franklin leads back into the corridor. Heads for Tippett and Callum Ward. Amazing courage.
Oh, boy, he's down 2, boys.
He's up again, though.
Oh, he's tough.
Well, lucky he's got a cement head, as per his nickname, but that is great courage. Again, we've seen Heath Shaw go back with a flight. Now the skipper in Ward.
Parker caught, slung. Shaw scrambles a kick outside 50. Reid hunts it down. Bumped by Cameron, and he gets it out with a minute left on the clock.
Let's have a look at Ward going back with the flight. As we've said, something we've seen a couple of times already.
Oh, that's me.
And he's being
and no free kick. No free kick there.
Big 6'9" ruckman comes forward in Kurt Tippett, and an accidental elbow on the back of the right ear.
And hit the ground almost as hard. Smith, a roller. McCarthy tried the clever flick on, didn't quite get it to work.
And let me tell you, Dwayne, we've all been in that position. Everybody feels fear. It's just whether you keep your technique right to keep your head up. It doesn't look bad on the TV.
Yeah, that's right. There's a couple of deep breaths going back.
I reckon the second of pain you go through is a lot better than the lifetime of embarrassment you wear.
Yeah, better to lose your head than duck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tippett, well, he tried to set that up for Franklin. Treloar, Griffin, Bug, Mumford, the scoop on. Shield got there, couldn't find a target. Jenner.
He
waited there. Mumford beelined him. Late chance for the Giants. Bug.
Treloar's over the top.
Green. Treloar. Devon Smith. No one to kick too long. Griffin. Just sits it up, hoping for Phillips to go up. Got a hand on it, Phillips.
I reckon he only got one on it because Pike had his other hand.
Yeah.
Grundy rather.
Grundy it was.
Should have had a free kick. Let's have a look at the last 10 minutes disposals, and very much in favour of the Sydney Swans, and it's probably the quality of disposals.
No doubt.
As well. Time and space, just a little referral here.
Score review.
Score review.
Is that it hit the behind post and it's a boundary throw in. Can you just please check to make sure it did hit the behind post and it wasn't a behind?
I think the Giants will be looking for a decision review on the holding free kick to Phillips, but obviously you can't do that. Just see here, where it touches the post.
I don't like backing up key forwards. So we said that, yeah, you couldn't really make that, could you? Not from this angle. The boundary umpire's right there, so he's got the best view. You should go with his call, I think.
Back the umpire in.
And they have.
Back into play. Chance here for just a crazy free or a quick snap. That's your crazy free.
Nice. Nice, Dwayne. Giants will be looking forward to this. They don't play on, no, he doesn't want to do that. And this would narrow the gap to 10 points and get it back to where it really should be. The Giants missed too many shots early in the game. Jeremy Cameron, the main offender, need this one.
Everybody in the stadium knows GWS need this one. Everyone at home watching. And those hoping for a contest know GWS need this one. And they don't get that one. And unfortunately for the Giants, 1 goal, 6 for the quarter. Had they kicked 6 goals, 1, they'd be in front. The Sydney Swans lead at quarter time at the SCG by 15. time at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and the home team, the Sydney Swans, 4-3-27 by 15 points. The Giants won 6-12. And in some ways, it was the Isaac Heaney show in the opening term as we look at the scores and the goal kickers to quarter time. Kicked a couple, Isaac Heaney. Hanbury 1 and Franklin 1. Hanbury 12 possessions for the term.
Just a great quarter of football, Dwayne. GWS didn't take their chances early, but Sydney Swans, look at the contested possession. GWS, they're getting the ball inside 34-22. So plus 12 to GWS just shows they're winning it inside, but not converting inside 50 and not defending coming out.
Barry Hall downstairs. Had a look from your angle, Barry.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne. Well, we've been hearing a lot about Isaac Heaney in the last couple of weeks, and rightly so. He's been fantastic in his first year of football. Obviously, he's got a really big tank. He's got a nice set of wheels on him, very quick. But this is a work rate you want to see from a first-year player. Look at him at the half-forward flank here, getting in the good spots, and most importantly, as I said, a first-year player, look at the finishing skills of this young man. Yes, he's quick. Yes, he's agile. And he obviously puts his head over the footy as well, but his finishing skills have been the thing that's really impressed me. In the top 5 score involvements in the first quarter, he leads the charge, this young man. He's got every bit of rap on him at the moment, and rightly so. Look, he's quick, he's agile, he's hard, and he's certainly a Sydney favourite at the moment. I'm loving the look at this kid.
Well, in some ways, he's keeping Adam Goods out of a game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Isaac Heaney looks like he's going to be a very good player for a long period of time. Only very early in his career, game 3, but he just has the composure, as Baz said, work rate, puts his body in the right position, but has great composure in front of goal. So an exciting young man to see, a real bonus at pick 18 in the draft.
Second term about to get underway. Phillips to start in the ruck for the Giants, and Pike for Sydney. Little pick up. Kennedy was good, but he couldn't dispose.
Yeah, Kennedy's struggling to find any space. Only had 3 disposals, 2 kicks, 1 handball, as Buddy Franklin starts the second term on the Pine. But this is really important for the Giants. Again, they've been dominant in contested possessions and clearances, as Shorey said. But if the Sydney get the ball, first possession here, they don't let them out.
Mad scrambles. Nice to see a little bit of mud on the ground for a change.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. There's a little bit out there.
Just a couple of little divots.
All right.
Not 70s or 80s mud.
They have had a fair bit of rain up here during the last couple of weeks.
2015 style AFL mud. Heaney, oh, that was slick to Jack from 50.
Chisel.
Bazza.
Well, Buddy Franklin was down the rooms at quarter time, boys, and he came up late. That's why he's starting on the bench in the second quarter. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what the issue is at the moment. Maybe he's a little bit tight.
Phillips. Second grab, he's held that.
Was a fingertipper in the end.
This is a big area for Phillips going in the ruck with Mumford, boys, because they might just wear down Mike Pike here, which means that Sydney might have to change a bit of their setup around the ground.
They brought Phillips in for this game. Didn't play last week. Andrew Phillips been on the list a few years, since 2010. Almost the turnover. Rhys Palmer is the turnover. Devon Smith to set it up. Cameron led short. Smith ignores it initially. Wanted the 1-2 with Mumford. Kelly. Just don't want to blaze away and waste it. Palmer.
They were Grundy's to spare deep.
Kelly. Whitfield goes up with a fist. Bird read it well. Hunted down by Griffin. Laidler hunted down. Work rate, and they should go from it.
Well, and that's what we spoke about, Shorey, about their ability to hold the ball in the forward 50. Sydney were rebounding far too easily. On this occasion, there's a lot of pressure, and good to see the young man, Lockie Whitfield. He was the one with the closing speed and wrapped up the tackle beautifully on Laidler.
I thought Griffin was the one that set it up, though, because he chased down and you could see the want in making the first tackle to make this spillage. And then Laidler, that's a new interpretation. You take a couple of steps, get caught, and it just floats out.
Third season for Lockie Whitfield. He's the one Giant many expect to jump into elite class in the next 12 months, and he slots it.
the former #1 draft pick from the Dandenong Stingrays. He's a really impressive young player. His uncontested work is probably the highlight, and we see where he's positioned in uncontested possessions in the competition. He's got a lot of teammates that'll get the ball out to him from inside. His polish on the outside is going to develop over the coming years, but he's a really classy player. Had an outstanding pre-season and enters 2015 in really good nick. He's had some injuries in the past, but looks very fit now.
Won the Lark medal a few years ago for the best player at the under-18 championships. And as a #1 pick, you're kind of the best player in your age group, in essence. But there's a big difference between being the best in your age group at 16, 17 and actually making the transition. So many haven't been able to. Phillips. Helicopter.
Grab that.
Green did well on the crumb. Not so well on the kick.
I was just thinking sometimes the helicopters are the best kicks in for a forward, because the defender, if you kick it right, they read it better. But on that occasion, they did get a front and centre on it.
Don't try and defend your traditional kicking style, sure.
Oh, well, I did it my whole career. Just, you know.
McVeigh. Collingwood Premiership captain Tony Shaw with us this afternoon. Cam McCarthy. Bends it back to the hot spot. Not a lot home for GWS. Cameron's got 3 to beat here. Tried to flick down. And he pushed off high.
I tell you, there was a decent old spray from Adam Treloar on young Cam McCarthy for kicking the ball around his body instead of dishing off a handball.
Bird.
Again, this is the challenge. Sydney looked to go back into the corridor. At the moment, GWS have blocked that up, forced wide. So that's a win.
Richards. Gary Rowan turned Kelly inside out, and he didn't complete the deal. Toes it off the deck, and that'll stay alive. Unkind in the end. Gary Rowan was subbed out last week late in the game. Didn't have a massive influence. Of course, Adam Goods came on late as the sub in a game they had in their keeping at that stage, the Swans. Davis. Franklin's back on.
Massive players back at this stoppage. Buddy Franklin on the move. He's looking to get involved.
Just gliding across the ground at the moment, Lance Franklin, threatening. Pike. Across the face. He looks fit, Lance Franklin, and determined. Short to himself. Haynes. Backing back Whitfield. Good contest, got it to ground at least. In fact, it was Core who backed back and got it to ground. And we'll get a ball in.
Two coaches, John Longmire and Leon Cameron. Both look very anxious at this early stage of the second term.
Second year for Leon Cameron, 16th with 6 wins last year, and expecting a better season this year. Parker, little fend off. Franklin, Patfull right with him side by side. Canelio, the roadblock. Green, Cunningham. McVeigh. We thought about turning Bug inside out and going. Is he within range?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think he's going to have to kick this from 55, be just outside the range. He might pull this one to the top of the goal square.
Sits it up, across the face, and Mumford got back like good ruckmen do. And made sure of that last 2 metres over the behind line.
He's played some great games with the SCG. Probably all of those in the Sydney Swans jumper, but he's been a fantastic ruckman up here in New South Wales.
He was a bargain pick. They got him for pick 39 because they, in essence, had to make a bit of room for Lance and a couple of changes. Devon Smith long. Phillips, good contest. Here's Mumford on cue, couldn't quite get to Laidler. Lays a bit of a tackle on Rampy, put him under some pressure. Mumford again goes in hard, and he's jumped on and wins a free.
And again, up to the end of round 2, Shane Mumford was the #1 player in the competition for free kicks for. I think we'd associate Big Shane with the free kicks against, but he gets a few as well.
Shaw, better delivery man, hits the spot hard. McCarthy, Reid got up too.
Just want to see if we had a carbon copy of the first quarter here, boys. I thought the Swans, halfway through the quarter, just started to get control. So again, GWS are just searching, just pushing through in the inside 50. They've got to make these count here early.
Parker, Pike, Reid, Hanbury. Scrambles it wide. Bug, manhandled by McGlynn.
Well, they're out here now. Buddy's got space.
So Franklin about to kick it to where Franklin would like to be. He might get the 1-2-3 here. Jack wasn't quite ready for it.
Good chase by GWS there.
To McGlynn. And now Rowan in the 1-on-2. Whitfield should get there.
Well done. Whitfield pushed back. He was 50 metres away from his direct opponent in Jeddah, but work rate helped his team out.
Cornelio. Fourth season now for Cornelio. Big things expected of him this year as well. Devon Smith. Now Phillips running back to the square. Jeremy Cameron running back for the square. He goes for home himself. Flick back, and I think Jeremy Cameron thought it wasn't going to be a goal, wasn't going to get the bounce, and tried to keep it alive. Didn't quite work. Jeddah. Cunningham.
Oh, well done.
Very well read.
Palmer. There's that chaos ball. Might work. McCarthy tucked into the pocket and edged out by Reid.
You cannot doubt the courage of the modern-day player, can you, Lynch? At times you might turn around in our day and go front and centre.
Well, there was only one or two cameras. You'd get away with the back end as well, or lose it in the lights.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
21 odd cameras and high definition, of course. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching at home with us. You've got the best seat in the house.
Oh, Kennedy that goes out. That's nearly intentional.
Yeah, I think that's...
I reckon that has to be intentional. Oh, umpire. You'd love to see where his eyes were going then, Josh Kennedy, because he has just done it beautifully then from about 70 metres.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was totally intentional. I mean, it's come off the side of the boot and nice little barrel.
Well, my family might be here today. I reckon he was kicking at his family in the second row.
Scully sits it up. Reid, double fist. Shield, clever. Smith stripped of it. Jeddah.
Too long in the tackle.
So Smith was held too long, and he might be within range here. He might even try and take on the man on the mark. He does from just outside 50, a little too hurried. Cameron gets back.
He did hurry it because Ryan Griffin was lurking around, was just about to set himself up for that little handball receive, and he's one of those players could have got the journey.
Cunningham. Rampy. Heaney. Good spoil, good pressure. Craw wasn't in his back. Callum Ward. Had to flick it out. Scully. Turnover. Rowan to Hanbury to Cunningham. Turnover back again. Call. Good pressure. Good quality game at the moment. Little fumble. Rampy now is caught. Wrapped up. Just got it away. Grundy. And now McVeigh, if it sits, can go. Options are plenty.
Buddy's eyes will be lighting up here.
Bird ignores. Franklin goes for Tippett. Almost raked it in. Still goes. Parker. Inboard. Heaney, there's a push off and a work. Franklin through the middle. Oh. Gold class.
That is great work. Good pressure from the Swans to keep the ball going forward. And we know Isaac Heaney's from rugby league heartland up there in Newcastle, and this is like a little offload to your big front rowers coming through the tackle. We'll just see Buddy will get involved here. He's got the head of steam up now. Just a little offload there after a great fend. Straight through the tackle and great snap on the left foot. Again, the Sydney Swans taking their chances.
I just wonder whether that was a throw from Isaac Heaney there, whether his fist made contact with the ball. It was very quick.
I think it was an offload.
Offload. There it goes.
Fend-off was almost high as well, but it was superb to watch. Jack.
This is the danger period in this half of the quarter now.
Tippett's on the move. Oh, it got to him, but through hands. Core. That's gone. Ball. McGlynn.
Great tackle.
Well done. Ben McGlynn into the side. Today is a late inclusion for his first game for 2015. He's been a very good player since arriving from Hawthorn, and a lot of it is around this defensive pressure in the forward half.
And he's one of those in the Sydney 22 still fighting to win himself a premiership. Been a little unlucky. Goal umpire did not move.
Well, sensational tackle there by Ben McGlynn. But let's go back to the Isaac Heaney. Let's see if we can see a fist getting on this at the end of it. I just love he's a one-grab player. And, he did. He got a little bit of skin on that. As they give me some skin, they say.
He's almost belted the cover off that.
How's this for a little bloke? That's the type of aggression you need in your forward line. And that's where GWS late in quarters are just falling down. So, well done to Ben McGlynn, sorry.
Played with two superpowers in Hawthorn and the Sydney Swans, but as you said, Dwayne, still looking for that first premiership.
You kind of need guys on your list who haven't won one. Keep those that have maybe got a little content in their older age to keep pushing for the other one. McGlynn gets it up. Bird still fighting hard. GWS not out of this just yet. In fact, Greater Western Sydney came from 6 goals down against Melbourne last week to win by 8 goals. Now, I know there's a bit of difference between the two teams, Melbourne and Sydney, quality-wise, but they do fight it out, GWS. Griffin couldn't quite take the chest mark. Cameron.
Oh, too high. That was, I thought that was a high tackle then. Grundy, but still, the umpire just maybe in a blind spot.
Oh, that might be high.
Treloar got up. Callum Ward, he tried to part the seas. Well, it was the accumulation of 3 half threes.
That was probably the least incorrect tackle, probably. Callum Ward, he's got one high, and it is only early in the game. Just see here.
Well,
that's Jeremy Cameron. That was the first one that was overlooked. That was a high tackle.
And there's another one there too, just to follow up later.
No doubt about it. Then Ward
did he duck his head here? Oh, yeah. Gee, that's hard. Well, you've got to just play. But I know the umpires are cooler because it's that quick.
And he threw his head down, and the footy gods are here.
Yeah.
It's only early, but they're kicking their way out of this. Because it's energy sapping for teammates. And just this transitions on again, Shorey. 4 goals won from defensive half chains so far in the game. Now 4 goals out of their 6 have come from this back end of the ground for the Sydney Swans. They're running it very easily through the midfield of GWS.
A mistake.
Grundy just knocked it away from Griffin.
Oh, gee, they're untidy down deep.
Made it hard for Richards. And it should be coming back. Numerical advantage here for GWS and Palmer. Well, he didn't hit his man, but he still gets it. Griffin tried to fend off. Treloar. Whitfield. Trying to thread the eye of the needle with that. Jetta. Clever. The spin. Tightrope the boundary. Got it back, and he's away. Got it back from Jack.
Oh, inside out top.
Wobbles the mongrel towards Parker. He's caught and slung and dumped.
That's ball.
Yeah, he had the prior opportunity. Had a look and decided to hold possession. Good pressure to actually turn the ball over.
Might be a 20-point margin, but they are having a crack still here at GWS. They at least believe in themselves.
Let him up, Dan.
Well, look, the kick that Callum Ward had a goal and kicked the point, we knew it was a free kick, fortuitous, but that sort of pressure, that's what the GWS have to keep up. I'm worried about late in quarters when they get tired. That's the area where the Swans take control, coming out of their defence.
Swans playing a +1 in defensive half now. It's Reece Shaw, so that's what's holding the Giants up off half-back.
So he sits it up, hoping for the leaper. McCarthy went up. Cunningham, Crum. Here's the spare, Shaw. And made it look okay in the end. Heaney.
He's going to claim that.
To Bird.
How clean was Heaney at ground level, though?
And that's not going to hit a chest.
We've seen that many fumbles in the last 5 minutes from senior players, and this bloke here on screen now, just one grab at ground level.
Cornelio to Patfull. He's got Kelly.
Got to go quick.
So Kelly on the open side.
Yeah, well done from Josh Kennedy up the field to force the slow off half-back.
Scully.
Kennedy's on the mark here, but he got out in front of Scully to stop the quick transition.
These two teams have had the same amount of scoring shots, 12 scoring shots each. High inside 50, and McCarthy with the big lead, knocked it down. Reece Palmer, this is his moment.
Oh, beautiful finish.
And raises the hope a little more.
Cam McCarthy won't get a stat there, but what he did, he jumped at the contest, and he was a really predictable marking contest, got the ball straight down to the front to Reece Palmer. Have a look at McCarthy's work here. Really important he makes a contest. He's not going to take the mark, gets up over the top of, may have been Grundy there, spills the ball down to a predictable position. Palmer was in the right spot, and I think he'd be more comfortable around the body like this. Reece Palmer makes a great fist of it, and just narrows the gap back to 14 points. Great goal.
Gee, I love seeing that. Front and centre. Front and centre to a contest. We don't see a lot because there's so many numbers in the defensive half. And I think small forwards have forgot how to even train for it. But that was just beautiful off the pack, the way they read that and finished.
So more scoring shots now by 1. But only the 3 goals compared to 6. But they are well and truly alive in this, and they believe. Remember, they did beat Sydney round 1 last year. Josh Kennedy. Now Franklin's lurking. Bang. Crunched. Heaney. Right spot, right time. Franklin. Shrugs. Oh, he burned them both. Oh, there's one for the highlights reel.
He's bounced off 2 or 3 opponents there. Now, he's a big man, 6'5", well over 100 kilos, you would suspect. Really powerful. Heaney again in the right position, gives it off to start with. One fend, breaks a tackle. Breaks the second tackle on Joel Patfull. He'll be disappointed with that one. But great composure from the superstar forward. Buddy Franklin, great strength. And again, transition from one end of the ground, or the middle of the ground, to deep forward goal.
Superman just wearing his opponent like a cape.
Tell you what,
full flight there.
Franklin went to everybody else and gave him high fives. He should be going Isaac Heaney. He set him up with 2 beauties at the moment.
Kennedy, Hanbury, McVeigh. Rowan just went under that.
High tackle, Swans.
The middle of the ground.
You've given one away.
So it's downfield against Mumford.
Yeah. Oh, Mumford's actually rested his face on Laidler's, or his forehead on Laidler's chin. And there's a report.
You've been reported for rough conduct. Stay out, stay out. Stay out.
Be interesting to see the late tackle, and I think it was on Kieran Jack went down to start with, and Laidler got involved.
And Parker, after the 50-metre penalty, kicks an easy goal from the goal line, but there are spot fires everywhere right now.
Energy sapping for the Giants, one of their leaders, Big Shane Mumford. Have a look at the collision here in the middle of the ground, and Mummy just...
Oh, hold on. Kieran Jack may be the instigator there. I don't know what happened after it.
And then, so it was high contact against Jack to start with, then Mummy's reacted, and that's often the case. The one that reacts, the second up, gets caught.
one of the oldest football Murphy's Laws of the book. It's always the guy who reacts.
Oh, there's heavy contact there.
Now, I think we're going to get a bit more heavy contact in the second half, the way this is travelling. 5.5 minutes left. Green, Shaw, Griffin, and they fight back late here. Biggest margin of the game. Shield, caught, ball. Gee, I thought he dropped that.
And maybe knocked out in the tackle, I think, Dwayne.
Got away with it, and the umpire stalking this. That's ball.
Well, he's been the target, Dylan Shield. They've really put time into him. Every time he's got the ball, he's been under Bird's the man probably with that job. But he's been brilliant in the first 2 weeks. He's the man.
And here he is on cue for you, Shorey.
Not too much space. Going to have to go bail out long. Needs a strong contest in the air.
Mumford's down there. McCarthy's down there. Kelly's down there. Palmer tried it off the deck. Richards. Hanbury threw that out to Parker. Fell. Pike. Through some legs. Core. Whitfield. Wanted his left. Devon Smith with a couple to beat. Did okay there. Didn't get the free kick away. Still hassles. Grundy gone. Just got it away in time.
Good pressure from the Giants, but great work from Sydney to maintain possession.
Oh, not now.
And the steal back. He's on the left this time, Whitfield.
And the pressure and the intensity is there from the Giants. They just can't finish the work. 3 goals, 11, as we hear GWS blood rule. Maybe Jeremy Cameron, who's gone from the ground, who went down in a contest about 30 seconds ago at the top of the goal square. That's a bit of head contact. Just get patched up and he'll be back out there in a few minutes, you'd suggest.
Richards. Jenner, he wanted to run onto it, and Haynes came the other way in full flight. Tight ropes the boundary end. Almost juggled McCarthy. This is his moment, and he hasn't had many so far today.
Well, the scoreboard impact in the first quarter was transition, we said, from defence. I don't think that's happened as much against GWS with the Swans in this quarter. Some individual brilliance that's been inside their 50 when they've gone in there.
3 goals last week against Melbourne, Cam McCarthy. He's one of those players with a strange-ish ball drop, but a pretty accurate kick.
Oh, he's hit that all right.
Just across the face.
We see his kicking action here, boys, and we've spoken about it a little bit, but he just leaves it out there to hang, and he doesn't guide it totally onto his foot. It's, geez, he's a real competitor. If he gets a few more shots at goal, he'll certainly get better at his goal kicking, but he's a good young kid.
Yeah, a bit of West Coast Eagles Josh Kennedy in the run-up as well. Freddie Flintstone stuff.
Jeddah has got a paddock ahead. One thinks about a second bounce. Franklin wants it long. Front spot, Davis. You might mark this, Davis. His own man knocked it away. Rowan or Franklin still lurking in the pocket. Couldn't get the handle back to him. Bird to full forward. Tipper. Parker. Oh! You can't do that, surely.
They'll review it, but it is a goal.
I believe it's a goal. I just want to see if it was touched.
I dare you to try that at home.
He was forward. He was about to land on his nose, and he's got that from hand to foot.
Let's have a look
at this.
And how did he drop it? He's done it with it.
It's a drop kick.
Oh.
He's kicked the droppy. Are you going to be able to reverse that? It's going to be hard to tell. Little drop kick on the inside.
Oh, he kicked it. There's no doubt. Oh, that is sensational.
Definitely kicked it. It's all about whether it was touched.
But Toby Green claims it was touched.
Just behind you there. Kurt, Thomas, Kurt.
You're not going to better say that was touched. No. That's the first drop kick goal we've seen for a few years. Dwayne, since you were playing.
Bruce Linder, I think, on this ground from memory.
That's an instep goal, boys.
I reckon it was Bruce Linder at Waverley, I reckon it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that was touched. So the benefit has to go to the goal kicker, I'm thinking.
We go to the umpire's decision, which was a goal.
Oh, we've seen it all. This is a fantastic game of football. I think might be a bit of a sting in the tail still after half-time, because we know GWS have finished games off pretty well. But how good was that? He was gone, done and dusted. You're thinking, oh, gee, I was set up if I could only stand up. And then somehow he's dropped it on the instep. And that is just magnificent play. Toby Green couldn't get his hands on it, and there's no way you could call that touch.
Yeah, outstanding highlight for Luke Parker. He's a very, very good player, and he's just taken it to new heights with an instep drop kick for goal.
From the ball up. 2 minutes left to half-time. Biggest margin of the game, 30 points. From the scramble. Can't concede another one here, GWS. And, of course, they'd love to get one. Smith bangs it long in hope. Grundy, fist wins out as it so often does. Hanbury, stolen back. Green, Whitfield, Mumford. Tried for the 1-2, didn't work. Pike, Cunningham, McVeigh, Kennedy. Just scrambles a kick. Turnover. Smith, Griffin gives it to Green.
Strife here.
Yeah, too much handball.
Treloar.
But again, the pressure on the ball carrier from both teams, really. But the Sydney Swans didn't allow GWS any time and space to get the short pass in so they could stop to set up a really clean forward 50 entry. Everything they touched on that occasion was under pressure.
Cornelio. Devon Smith. Tough kick from the pocket. Percentage play from Laidler.
Yeah, well done from Mumford to even contest and spoil it over the line, appealing to the umpire that he may have been held, but difficult to make a decision in that situation.
Well, the Swans have only conceded 52 points on average per the first 2 games. They're going fairly close to that margin again now. So great defensive work by the Swans.
Still a chance for a late one here. Kelly.
Good smother.
It's smothered by Hanbury. Franklin. He's a magnet. They all come to him and leave players free. Lloyd, little nudge out. It's against Shaw. It's going to Rowan.
There wasn't a lot in that one. I thought Heath Shaw eased him under the ball okay.
Kirk Tippett. Patfull.
More often than not, Joel Patfull would be more comfortable to take the mark on that occasion, but they're just under siege a little bit.
He's limping Lynchy behind play there, Joel Patfull too, as he's just gone back.
Yeah, just might have wrenched the knee in that contest.
Ooh.
Pike down to Franklin.
Oh, no.
Bends it back. Well, that would have been phenomenal.
Left foot banana on the run, running to your right foot. Certainly creates some anxiety for opposition teams and supporters.
Back into play. Still danger here. Shaw. It's wide, and it's on the full. 27 seconds left to half-time. Still a chance for one more piece of maybe Lance Franklin magic. It's in his direction. Edged out. Heaney flew, and Davis marked it.
Well done from Davis. He just got rid of Buddy Franklin in that pack, just edged him under the ball nicely.
Danger. McVeigh. Tapped it out of play.
Something's got to work on Phil Davis. You can see exactly what's in his mind before he kicks the ball. So players around him just read his facial expressions. They say to face where you want to kick the ball, but sometimes you just got to move your head a little bit to make the opposition wonder what's going to happen.
He's on his own. And he could have the last kick of the half.
And he's just been told from the teammates, take the shot, and you just think, everything this young man has done in the first 2.5 games he's played has turned to gold, and you'd imagine this will be the same. He's playing in front. He pushes off his opponent. Nice mark.
From right on the paint. You look good off the boot. You're watching a star on the rise. right before your eyes. Isaac Henney kicks his third. And the lead blows out to 35 points at half-time. GWS came from 36 points down last week to beat Melbourne. They're going to have to come from 35 down here. Back to you, Sandy.
Good on you, Dwayne. Thank you very much. Yes, what an extraordinary quarter of football, and some freakish football, whether it's Buddy, whether it's Luke Parker, or whether it's Isaac Heeney. The bottom line is the Sydney Swans are flexing their muscles, and they lead by 35 points at the long break. Earlier today, it was the Bombers who were in fine form at the MCG. They accounted for Carlton to the tune of 21 points, and they were very happy, particularly in the rooms after the game.